The Security Fabric Audit is a feature that allows you to continually assess the security fabric and provide recommendations to verify that configurations are working effectively and increase awareness of critical vulnerabilities. It provides enhanced visibility with a 360-degree continuous view of assets, networks, and data movement within your organization. Running the audit check identifies potential vulnerabilities and security best practices. Your audit report displays the results of individual checks by category, and points are then awarded based on both the checks you passed and the severity rating of any failed checks. Your Fabric score will show a positive or negative rating, where the goal is to get a high positive score. Your score also depends on how many devices are in your network topology, since all FortiGates must pass a check to receive a pass. The Fabric score can also be used to help with compliance by gauging adherence to internal and external organization policies, standards, and regulation requirements. You can find out more about the Security Fabric audit best practices on the FortiGuard site. Now let's take a look at how to instantly boost your Security Fabric score by implementing changes based on your Security Fabric audit recommendations. From the dashboard of the root FortiGate, you can look at the Security Fabric score to see the Security Fabric rating from the previous audit you performed. The score is determined from a series of real-time checks that analyze your network. In this case, we can see an extremely poor rating score based on a series of critical issues that have been identified by the audit. We can also see a number of issues ranked as high and medium, too. Beside the Security Fabric score, you can look at the Security Fabric status widget for a breakdown of your network configuration. We'll run the audit from the root FortiGate, which is the furthest upstream FortiGate, and then we'll make changes to accounting and marketing as needed. To get to the Security Fabric audit, you can take this shortcut or navigate to Security Fabric Audit. First, the audit will apply recommendations for the FortiGates detected in your Security Fabric. Then click Next to run the audit. The security score rating is displayed and broken down into a visual representation of passed or failed tests, where failed tests are also ranked on a severity level of low, medium, high, or critical. The new drop-down menu allows you to view the audit results for individual FortiGates or all FortiGates at once. You can also filter to view failed checks only, or click All Results to include the checks that were passed in the results. Simply select Print to receive a detailed audit printout. Let's look at the compatible firmware recommendation for the accounting FortiGate. We can see from the color that it's a critical issue and that we lose 50 points for failing this audit check. The recommendation suggests updating the accounting FortiGate to put it on the same build as the root FortiGate. The compatible firmware warnings also indicate that the firmware issue needs to be taken care of first, in order to meet the dependencies for further tests to take place. To fix this issue, let's navigate to Security Fabric, Physical Topology, to get a closer look at what build the root FortiGate is on. It's on version 5.6.1, build 1484. Now let's go directly to the accounting FortiGate to upgrade its firmware. From the dashboard, under System Information, click on the firmware version and follow the shortcut to go to System, Firmware. Make sure to check your release notes and download the appropriate firmware from the support site. Then select Upload Firmware. This will put the accounting FortiGate on the same 5.6.1 build as the root FortiGate. It may take a few moments to reboot, and then you can log back in. The FortiGate is now on the correct firmware version. Let's go back to the root FortiGate and navigate to the audit. Run the audit again. Nice! After fixing the firmware compatibility issue, we've gone from a negative score of 950 to a positive score of 238.7. The FortiGuard subscription licenses display the status of the licenses and indicate which individual licenses need to be renewed. These can be easily updated on the Fortinet support site. To update FortiSwitch, navigate to Wi-Fi and Switch Controller, Managed FortiSwitch, and upgrade the firmware. Click Install and Reboot. Then log back in and go to Security Fabric, Audit, and run the audit again. Scroll down to see the rest of the recommendations. We can see that our internal segmentation firewalls have a few areas to fix, but most of the issues, like applying device detection to an interface, can be fixed using the Easy Apply option in the next step. We can see that the marketing Fortigate has an unused security policy that hasn't had any traffic passing through it in the last 90 days. Let's open the Marketing Fortigate and navigate to Policy and Objects, IPv4 Policy to delete the unused policy. Now that the changes have been saved, let's go back to the root Fortigate and click Next to use the Easy Apply options. First, enable device detection on interfaces which are classified as LAN or DMZ. Then enable Detect Botnet connections on both the Marketing and Sales Fortigates so that the interfaces which are classified as WAN will block outgoing connections to botnet sites. Apply the recommended changes and your current configuration will be backed up as a revision checkpoint. You can also view the configuration changes. It looks like one check couldn't be run previously since the dependencies weren't met, so we'll rerun the audit. You can see that our initial previous positive score of 271 is now up to 485. The audit in this example has been cleaned up substantially with only a few areas left to improve on: renewing licenses, replacing NAT devices, acquiring certificates, and adding admin passwords. Thanks for watching! For more Security Fabric documentation, go to our homepage or check out more videos here.